Thank you. So I know that both Ruth and Lisa have already touched upon a lot of the stuff that I would have spoken about today, so I won't go over that. But I just wanted to quickly say that with our open education resource and the fact that we are planning on Indigenising a lot of our curriculums, that includes our people, because without our knowledges, how are you going to learn? How are we going to Indigenise? It's about showcasing our culture, which I might be biased, but I think it's absolutely Murrumbung Belong, which is very good, very great. And it also helps you all to understand not only our love for Nurrumbung country, but for you to understand why we are connected, how we are connected. It also helps us to allow you to see how we learn from country, how we learn from our elders. So, you know, for instance, I might be a young academic. Not a lot of people will know me unless you're actually in the specialised areas that I have published in. However, this voluptuous academic is a university within itself. You might ask me why. That is because I've got many, many universities that I've attended in the country, in the classroom, through textbooks. I've got Auntie Anita Heiss, who this story is a full and true. Sorry, I get emotional and I get excited. This is a story that, although some of it is fictional, it's a true story of what happened with our people. It not only helps to educate all of you people, that helps us to reclaim our language, learn our language, getting so excited. But it showcases how beautiful our languages are. It gives us that ability to show you, not only from a lot of historical perspectives of non-Indigenous people, but just from our mouths, from our writing. This is something that when I first started grad cert, and it's not the best example, but when I started the grad cert, language, culture, and heritage, this was one of my projects. I went out to a school and I taught this resource. This has been asked for many, many times. I only had 10 copies. There's about 120, and that's just basic language. That's me sitting down and saying, this is what our long-necked turtle is. So for me, it's important that you all understand and that we are able to, alongside each of you, because if you don't have a lot of our allies like Ruth, Lisa, Virginia, Tracy especially, she does a lot of amazing work with our Walatuka people. Everybody in this room and, you know, who are listening, we don't have the ability to actually make the difference, and we're better to actually talk about us than us to show you. So I will touch on quickly, you know, as Ruth and Lisa both said, it is digitally accessible and it's going to be a living document. So I can always come in and I can change it. I can take things out. I can also obviously take feedback and change around, like perhaps you may not understand, because with anything, if you just know it, you're not always going to be able to think about how will I portray that information to other people. So I already know, you know, that one of the aims of the OER project is to, you know, obviously make sure that it's free. So, and I know being somebody who has been a student for many years, I know how much it costs. You know, Ruth has already told us that. And I don't want anybody to have to sell a kidney or an arm or a leg. We only have so many. And I think with, the cost of living these days, especially, we can't keep regrowing things. Maybe in the future that will happen, but right now we need to save our arms, our legs, our kidneys, etc. How does it work? Well, it's going to be led by lots of Black academics, our Black students, and of course myself. And we'll also be alongside not only Lisa and Ruth, but also by amazing non-Indigenous academics and students. In the future, we're hoping that the contribution will be able to be to the wider Indigenous communities and to a lot of people, because as a lot of us would know, just because you're not at university, you don't have a degree, doesn't mean you don't have a degree in life, you don't have lived experiences. And so this is one of the things that we want to do. We want to be able to say, okay, you may not have a degree, you may not be well known, but we're going to give you that opportunity to not only work within the university, but to get your knowledge out. Because for me, one of my best teachers have always been Mob. My elders, don't even need to keep talking about that, because you can tell, how much that I have gotten from a lot of my elders. So I also want to be able to, in the long term, include international aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, because I think that that also enhances all of our knowledge and it makes us so much better to be able to understand each other's culture, our language, the reasons that we be and do, especially the fact that even though we are very similar cultures, we have differences, and I think that's really beautiful to be able to come and share, and that's something that I think a lot of us more can do very, very well. So how are we going to do this? We're going to incorporate the much needed, unique and diverse way Indigenous peoples share, learn, and incorporate all of our knowledges for the betterment of all of us here at the University of Newcastle. We're going to be able to do this by fostering multiple environments or platforms which can cater for multiple and diverse forms of knowledge, creation and environments, whilst creating nourishing and co-designing knowledge, partnerships and more, because I feel that together we can co-design and we can figure out what works for, our students in all of our different schools. We're going to be doing this by using a variety of digital methods, such as text, video, audio, art, music, and more. We're going to be providing the self-autonomy for our mob to make decisions on how they feel best allows their knowledge to be shared. I think we've already gone over why we should use open licensing agreements, so I won't go over that one. So what are the benefits to Indigenous peoples contributing? It's an opportunity to share knowledge, which assists the way other mob learn, share, and understand knowledges. It's free access to our deadly university library staff, and so free. Woohoo, let's take that, because who doesn't love free stuff? Our ways of being, doing, learning, and sharing will work for you too. Two-way science is the way to go. I cannot share enough the two-way science book, and the authors escape me. However, I've seen it, I've done two-way science. It's amazing, it is beautiful, it enriches us all. Not only helps us to all work together and to understand each other, but even our non-Indigenous students, their grades can go from here to here. Not only because you could be, if it's geography, it could be science. You're not sitting in a classroom being talked at all the time. You don't have to sit there and read copious amounts of literature. Because like I said, I'm a university. My aunties work as a university. This is university. This allows me to not only have you pick this piece of rope up, but it's giving you knowledge. The amount of knowledge that is in here is amazing. And whether you believe in the fact that you pick up something, you can feel the energy, you can You can see, you can feel, yeah, the knowledge that's in this. I'm living proof of that happening. Just the other day, I was sitting there with one of my amazing colleagues, and we were just leaving. I was teaching him to leave. And the conversations that we had, just people coming up, just saying, hey, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Teach me. Can you come in and teach me how to weave my classrooms? I was able to just something simple like this, share the knowledges of weaving, the practices, stories of my weaving women. And they went away with so much knowledge. I've actually had feedback from people saying, hey, I actually can remember everything he was saying to me, but for the rest of the day, sitting there, reading something, whether it's researching, whether it's, sitting in the classroom learning, they have no idea. So that tells me it works. It's also going to help the way that, we do use the knowledge, because, I feel that however it works, it's going to be around here for all millennia, and it's going to be shared in our classrooms and spaces. How does OER benefit from the Indigenous academics or Black academics, students in the wider community? There's way too many ways. I've already told you lots, but there's so many more. It enables you to have food and drink in your belly because you don't have to pay to get, okay, I need that lung, to be sold. So it's going to allow everyone to have the free access to our knowledge, given our contributors allowing you to be. Not everyone learns in the traditional expected way that the Western education or institutions expect us to learn. Because a lot of us we still have within our DNA going out on country, learning, sitting, reading, yarning. That's how we learn. And our Black academics can finally incorporate ways that we know to be successful for all. And there's a different perspective in the way that you can have insight to what you're learning and how you're learning it. It allows for people who, may have issues with sitting down for too long, may not be able to concentrate. Doing it through art, whatever, helps you. Through song. Obviously, I can't tell you enough through language, just hearing all of that. I already gave you, because I got excited and got ahead of myself. So this was one of my examples that I was going to show you. So you don't have to live through that again. But, I will reiterate that being able to empower our students, not only with our languages, with our knowledge and education, but also, doing it our way is so much better. So it can be quite daunting to Indigenous people being in institutions such as university. And we are often the very first generations who will finish year 10 to year 12. And I'm talking about pretty old, but, my kind of generation. University is still a dream for many of our mob. Representation is key. As we heard earlier, seeing other people who look like us, sound like us, speaks for itself. And it allows incorporating Indigenous knowledges and the vitalness of it to be, basically I'm saying, as I'm looking at Jennifer going, oh, I gotta hurry. So it's allowing us to be able to be taught our way, or at least as much as we possibly can. Again, I got ahead of myself and was talking about that. I was planning on talking about Tyson Newton Potter's his Sandtalk book. It's absolutely amazing. There's a part that I get people to sit out on country with, and I read that to them, and they understand country and our connection so much better than just having us talk about it or being in a lecture. We don't have time for questions, but potentially you can always reach out and